Hey everyone, Sean here, and today in this video, this is actually my third time doing this since the codecs in the last two recordings did not go in my favor. Hopefully this one will work and we can make a video out of it. So anyway, today in the Hawk Talks episode here, I am going to be once again talking about the alternate costumes that are coming for, it looks like 2.5. I'm not too sure when these are coming out exactly. But these are alternate costumes upcoming for four characters here for Genshin Impact, with Jean, Amber, Rosaria, and Mona. These are the featured female characters in Genshin Impact, the big mobile adventure game RPG that's been around for a year now, a solid year, and it's been doing quite a lot in sales and the numbers and everything. And as a game that's being played in China, that's being super popular in China, there are going to be regulations that have to take place, unfortunately. Just like anything else in China, the government is very strict about that, especially with the CCP. And this is pretty much what it is. This is a form of censorship. They have to meet regulations for characters that have too much skin showing, or fan service, or that are more on the ecchi/erotic side, that sort of thing. And these are no exception. Some of these characters are very popular in fan art, very lewd, usually how it goes. And so the government is naturally going to come after at least 3 of the 4 characters in this bunch. So anyway, with all that said, before we go into all of that, don't forget to like and subscribe and hit the bell to notify all. Really, that is how you can help out any YouTube channel. So it's really highly appreciated, and that's really how you know when these videos come out. And it's really up to YouTube. But anyway, so I really want to talk about this because I'm more into like the visual side of things when it comes to video games, as I indicated before, especially with costumes. I think those are just as important for everyone, for the players, of course, the companies, right? Because that's how they can make a little more money out of these games, to really milk it out on their side of things. When it comes to us, it's visually gratifying, or it's cool, or it's nice to see something different. And luckily for us, anyway, when it comes to non-Chinese players or non-Chinese regions, we have a choice to go back between these costumes and the original designs. We have that luxury, as indicated here in this official post from Hoyo Lab by Mihoyo, of course. And let's see. So basically, right here, this line right here is very important. This is that the default outfits of the above characters will be retained. That is for us anyway. So unfortunately for the players in China, they have to stick with these costumes later on. Right now, there's already censorship taking place in their games for 2.4. I've seen some images. It's just more of tweaks of pre-existing stuff. For example, for Mona, they just added like a more blue color covering over her lower half. At least a good portion of her lower half has been covered up with some blue color. I'm not too sure what it's supposed to be or whatever, but it's just a blue thing over her crotch essentially, and to make it less revealing or sexualized or whatever you want to call it. So things like that have already been tweaked, but when it comes to 2.5, I believe these are going to be replacing that. So for China, they don't really have much of a choice. They have to meet those regulations, so they have to stick with these costumes for at least for these characters for right now, when that comes. There will be more characters. This is just the beginning, and that's all there is to it when it comes to that. But let's go over some comparisons, which we can do with Reddit. Someone posted on Reddit with these costumes side by side, which is actually really handy. Thank you very much for that. So anyway, let's start with Rosaria since she's right here. I feel like she got the best out of, or she came out the best out of this alternate costumes besides Jean. I'll go over that later. But it makes sense. There's nothing blatantly censoring about it. Like at least it kind of falls within her character. She's a nun, you know what I mean? So she's sister slash nun. Like her chest is quite covered up even more, even though her chest is already covered up, but it's pretty skin tight, I guess. So I guess they don't like that. So that's why they put a little more on top of that. Her shoulders are covered up because I guess they don't really like showing off some skin in some certain areas, I guess. So I guess the shoulder is like a no-no for some reason. But anyway, other than that, the fishnets are gone, and we have either some thigh-high boots or there's a long pant legging on the other. So there's that asymmetrical thing going on. But I do like it. It looks pretty cool, admittedly. So I'll probably go back and forth with this one. I can't say I like one or the other the most, or anything like that. But I do really like the alternate costume for Rosaria. I mean, it definitely looks like an alternate costume, you know what I mean? It's not some like color swapping or just like filling in the colors and like that. There's actually some costume, like actual costume change going on, starting with the sleeves and everything. So I like it. In this case anyway, for Rosaria, I think she came out the best besides Jean. Who was up next for this Reddit post here? Go through it. Yes, speaking of Jean, here she is. I think she also came out the best here besides Rosaria. Mostly the work has been done on her top half. Her bottom half has been left untouched because she's just wearing pretty tight pants, but just pants no less, I guess. I guess they're okay with that in this case. But when you have the most noticeable thing is her black top. Looks like a dress shirt of sorts under her vest, and looks like she's going to some sort of like formal sort of get together, like a ball or something, or like a military event kind of thing or gathering. Looks very formal in comparison to something like on the left there. In comparison, looks like on the left is kind of like more of what she's likely going to wear when she's in control or something. She's the captain of the Grandmaster of the Favonia's Knights, or acting Grandmaster rather, of the Knights. So I guess that's a little fitting, but this is also kind of fitting on the right. It does look pretty cool. I do like it. Now, granted, there is a lot more recoloring going on because they just changed the sleeve to black, but the top definitely has gone through some changes. So that's the most change we've seen there. It looks like even her cape, her little small shoulder cape, has gone through a change as well. So I actually do like that in that regard. The blue is interesting, but that could be different. It could be just the concept art, and we could probably likely see the same blue that we're seeing on the left, making it over, rather than the blue that we're seeing on the right. But I could be wrong on that one. But other than that, the vest is a little longer. It looks like it's kind of under the belt now, as on the left the vest is sort of right above the belt. So another noticeable sort of difference there. But otherwise the top is the same. Maybe her chest size will be less emphasized for the alternate costume, maybe. Otherwise, her face, her hair, and everything remains the same, and that all in that everything between. Again, her lower half has been left untouched pretty much, so we don't have to worry about that, I guess. So yeah, Jean came out pretty good in this one, in my opinion. There's definitely more black, it looks like, because the gauntlets that she has were blue, but now they're cleaning it up a bit with the white and the black. Pretty interesting, but I do like the coloring, so at least it's something in our favor anyway. Now, when it comes to someone like Amber, for example, not much has changed. This is more of the sort of recoloring that I'm talking about. With the exception of her pants, it looks like there's more of the white under part of her shorts. It looks like it's flaring out more, more towards her legs, which is a little different. But yeah, otherwise the real big difference is just the browns becoming red. And then some of the brown parts are black as well. So yeah, not much of a change overall. This is the most subtle one, and I kind of like the black underpart of her sleeve, which is kind of cool. But again, that's more of the recoloring. So it just seems like Amber got the most sort of that recoloring treatment out of the characters. There's no real drastic change otherwise. Obviously her gloves are different, but there's just colors. There's actually no additions to her costume other than maybe her chest area is a little more covered up, maybe less busty, I don't know. But otherwise, no real big change here. Again, she's probably the most subtle out of all the characters in comparison to the others. So, I mean, there is definitely a difference, of course, but when it comes to the actual costume, nothing really has changed. She's still wearing the same sort of hoodie jacket kind of thing. She still has the same vest, still has the same shorts, same boots and everything, thigh-high boots, thigh-high socks under that. Same holster thing that's on her hip, same accessory on her other side of the hip, the feather or whatever that is, ribbon, and everything. So same thing, kept everything for the most part for Amber. So not much has changed. You know, I guess it matches the character or her current status as someone who really doesn't use Amber. Only in very finite, like niche situations. But other than that, no one's really using her. So I guess it's appropriate. I guess. The character who got hit the hardest, really, in my opinion, when it comes to this whole censorship situation is definitely Mona. Mona definitely looks probably the most unfavorable of the bunch. Her, you know, one of her biggest characteristics, the stockings or whatever, her tights, have been switched out for just thigh-high boots, like everyone else is wearing, and of course the sort of that bodysuit with the shorts kind of thrown in there too. It's all in like one. It's like it's just one of those like bodysuits that people like Eula is wearing. That's just pretty much it. I mean, now she kind of just more looks more like those characters. That's a very common thing in female Genshin Impact characters. They have like some sort of shorts or something going on, whether it's from a bodysuit or bloomers or something like that, and then they just have thigh-high boots or some form of thigh-high socks or something like that, and that's just pretty much it. She just looks more like those characters. At least in her left image, she looks a little more unique. She's wearing tights with like stars on it, you know what I mean, which fits her character. She's an astrologist. She's a, you know, young prodigy of an astrologist, you know, that sort of thing, who has no money. So that's just kind of what Mona is, really, you know. So it makes her a little more unique. Her bottom half is definitely the most noticeable, but there are some changes up there too in her chest area. It's more covered up. You see less skin, and that's just pretty much it. A little more going on with the coloring, I guess. Something's a little different with her shoulders, the shoulder pads or whatever they are. Cape is a little different. I don't know if that'll actually be the final product, as they indicated, because on the bottom you can see it says, you know, it's not indicative of the final product, so you know you can't expect everything to be translated over to 3D. Some things are going to look drastically different one way or the other. That's just kind of how it goes. But overall, Mona got hit definitely the hardest out of the bunch. So yeah, she kind of just looks like any other character now. I mean, or less unique, let's just say. And that's just kind of how it goes. I've seen some fan art already, and it looks good there, but you know, in that regard. But otherwise, really, she just kind of, again, just sticks out less now. And I also kind of noticed they change up her sleeves too, like the it's all just purple now instead of blue and purple. Interesting. Maybe they thought they want to bring out the purple more. I'm not too sure, but that's just what it looks like right now. So that is that for these 4 characters. You know, and we have to remember that this is just the beginning. There are plenty of other female characters that are probably on the list. Let's take a look at some of the characters. Okay, so there are going to be changes for other characters too. I think Barbara, for example, probably her shoulders is going to get covered up. Maybe a longer skirt, maybe. Let me see. Beidou is going to go through a change for sure. They're probably going to cover up her chest area. Probably her lower half is going to change into something. They're probably going to be like shorts or something, or even just completely different to cover up her legs. But definitely her chest area is going to be changing for sure. Her arms are probably going to get covered up somehow. I just hope they make her look cool at least. Kind of like what they did with Rosaria right here and Jane in this case. I kind of just hope they do something relatively cool with that and be creative about it. You know, kind of try to meet both or sort of meet both grounds, so to say. Who else? Diana could go through a change. Probably her legs are gonna get covered up a little more. Shoulders and stuff like that. Goro will probably go through a change, maybe. They're probably gonna cover up his upper body a little more, at least. Who else? I feel like Kaching. Oh yeah, probably Kaching's gonna get sleeved up or something. He's gonna have sleeves, at least. Rosaria, her legs are probably gonna get covered up. Her chest is gonna go through a change, chest area. Lisa is gonna go through a change too. You know what I mean? One more character. Let's just take a look at who's really popular. Oh yeah, right. Ganyu. Where's Ganyu? Where's Ganyu? Right there. Oh yeah, so this is alphabetical order. So Ganyu definitely gonna get something on the top half. Lower half is gonna get covered up too because her butt is, you know, pretty spottable, right? Easily seen. So yeah, her upper half, her shoulders, you know, her chest area is gonna get covered up too. You name it, man. You kind of see where this is going with most of the other characters. Even some of the guys are gonna go through some changes too. I'm sure. Like Venti, for example, they're probably gonna make him less effeminate and very much more masculine later on, because China has expressed negativity about those sort of characters. From what I've heard, anyway, that's the word on the street. You know, the shorts are gonna go probably for something else. I don't know, but otherwise, yeah, Xingche is probably gonna go through a change too because the shorts probably gonna go through a change of sorts. But also, one other character is the Traveler, for both female and likely male as well. I mean, female, you know what area is going to get covered up. But male, I mean, look at that. I mean, not exactly the most masculine looking character, so probably the Traveler is going to go through some changes too. Maybe cover up at least the abs, you know? So he's probably going to lose that there. When it comes to like characters like Arataki Ito, you like I know this is subjective, but you kind of know easily, you know, he's a male, right? So it's just so obvious. So maybe the Chinese government or CCP or whatever, whoever's regulating these things, probably gonna give that a pass because, you know, they shouldn't be that stupid and be able to know that this is a pretty masculine looking character and probably the abs should be fine there when it comes to, well, at least Chinese players anyway. But if they're gonna change Arataki Ito, they need to buff up his arms. I think he needs to look buffer because He looks pretty buff here in the artwork, but when it comes to his in-game model, not so much, unfortunately, because they're using the same rig for everyone else, all the other tall males. But anyway, if they're gonna change Arataki Ito, they gotta change the arms too. They gotta get buffer, in my opinion. So that's pretty much it. I mean, that's you get the idea of who they're gonna and how they're gonna go about it for the rest of them. It kind of sucks that it has to happen when it comes to the Chinese players, but at least because they don't have a choice, they get compensated with 1,200 Primo Gems, which is actually kind of nice. Meanwhile, us, we do have a choice of choosing between the alternate costumes and the original costumes. However, though, with that said, we don't really get anything else, though. We have a choice, though, so at least I guess it's supposed to balance things out, I guess. I mean, if they're gonna do that for China, I mean, at least give them a free 10 summon. Like, come on, 12,000 or 1,200? Give them the 1,600, man, come on. Like, bruh. But anyway, mainly, costumes are coming, I guess, in one way or the other. I mean, we've only seen Keqing, Niguang recently, and then before that, we just had Jean and Barbara for the summer costumes. We could use a little more of that, you know what I mean? Like, there's been some really cool ideas for costumes for a lot of characters, and they've been looking really cool. I mean, the artists have all the ideas in their heads, I'm sure, right? But I don't know, Mihoyo is kind of just very stingy about that for some reason. Maybe it's a little too early. Maybe this could be the year of the start of costumes. I can't say. But otherwise, really, that's all I can say before I ramble on, really. So, thank you guys so much for tuning in for this Hot Talks episode. If you have any comments about the costumes and everything else that was mentioned in this video, leave me down below in the comment section. I'd love to read them. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Really helps out, and I do appreciate it. And oh yeah, don't forget to hit the bell as well. That's very important. So, this has been the Hot Talks episode on the alternate costumes for Genshin Impact. Hopefully this video makes it through. But anyways, either way, thank you guys so much. I'll see you guys in the next video. Ciao now.